So this is going to be a continuation of even what we did before. We talked about how many solutions. We've talked about how to do it graphically, using a table, using algebra. We're just going to continue that, okay? So if it says solve each system algebraically, so let's do that. If I was to, let me zoom in a little bit, solve it algebraically, if they both say y equals, I'm going to take this and set it equal to this. So I'm going to go negative 3x plus 5 equals negative 3x plus 1. Move this over here, move this over here. And I get 0 equals negative 4. Well, if this is a line and this is a line, my options are that I either have them touching one time, they're the exact same line, so it's infinite, or they're two lines and they don't touch at all. So 0, infinite, or 1 are my options. So I don't even have anything to solve for. That means that if I can't solve for anything, there is no solution. What that means is that if I asked you to graph this, well, let's graph them. Up 5, down 3, right 1, down 3, right 1. So there's the first one. This one is down 1, down 3, right 1, down 3, right 1. Well, what do you notice about both of those lines? They are parallel. What we're trying to do here is we're trying to figure out how many times do the two lines touch. That's what we've been working on in all this stuff back here when we first introduced this. We said how many solutions? 0, 1, 2, 4, 0, 2, 1, 2, 0. How many times do they touch? How many times do they intersect? How many times do they cross? Okay? Here, they don't cross at all, so there is no answer that would work. This is me showing it graphically, and this is me showing it algebraically. Okay? Let's do the next one algebraically. Now, let's think about it. Okay, what is that going to make? A U. What is that going to make? A line. So my options are they don't touch, they touch once, or they touch twice. Okay? Those are my options. Knowing your options makes things easier. Okay? So 1/2 x squared plus 1 equals 2x minus 1. What do I do every time I have an x squared? Set it equal to 0. So I get 1/2 x squared. I moved the 2x over, and then I moved that over equals 0. I got a problem though. You know what my problem is. I don't like fractions. So I'm going to multiply every little group by 2, by 2, by 2, by 2. Why am I doing that? To get rid of the bottom. I don't want to write 1, so I'll just do x squared. Minus 4x plus 4, anything times 0 is 0. Two numbers that multiply to get 4 and add to get 4 are 2 and 2. Oh, so does that mean I have one solution or two solutions? Well, you go, well, I got two x's. I understand. But they're the exact same x. So I really only have one answer. Now I got my x value. How do you think I get my y? I can plug it into either equation, but you know I'm going to pick the one without a fraction. So that means if I graph them, there should be one place they cross. So down 1, up 2, right 1. So there's the line. Okay. That must be 2, 1. If I was to graph this, this would be up 1 because that is the vertex because there is no x. And the y is a vertical translation up 1. Okay. Actually, it would be right here. And then it would go like this. This is fake. You can use Desmos. You think I'm messy. I'm not disagreeing with you, but it takes a lot of time to go put it into Desmos right now. I have shown you graphically, and I have shown you algebraically how to do this problem. You need to be able to do this stuff algebraically. Okay? So there's different ways you can do this problem. What I would do is some of you go, I know, I'm going to take this and plug it in there. Let me make that a little bit bigger. And then I would go x minus 2 squared equals x. That's one way. Okay? What I would do is I would take this and plug it in there. So I kind of looked at it backwards. I would take this y squared and plug it in for x. So I would go y equals y squared minus 2. Anytime I got a squared, what am I going to do? Set it equal to 0. I'm going to move this over here. Two numbers that multiply, two numbers that add. This is negative, so the bigger is negative. Set it equal to 0, and I get 2 and negative 1. Now be careful, because these aren't your x's, these are your y's. So now I'm going to take my y and I'm going to plug it in. I can pick this one or I can plug this one. I'll pick this one. So I'm going to take the 2 and I'm going to plug it in here. 2 equals x minus 2, x equals 4. Now I'll take the negative 1 and plug it in here. If you're lost on this, just ask me. I don't mind helping you, but you've got to ask. I don't judge you for questions. I judge you for lack of questions and not making an effort for yourself. Add 2, 1. Now you go, well, how do you know if you're right? Well, let's see. Negative 1 squared is 1. 2 squared is 4. So I know that I'm good to go. Now here's the hard part. Well, let's graph this one first. This would tell me to go down 2. Again, you can do this on Desmos, but it just takes me too long. Down 2, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. Okay, fake line, but you got it. Now, if it's 4, 2, I should probably make it go a little bit more like that. So that means this is going to be, and then this is going to be. Okay, I'm faking it, of course. Now this, you should recognize, when it's y equals x squared, it's like this, a parabola. When it's x squared plus y squared equals a number, it's this. But what about when it's x equals y squared? It's this. Okay? So your vertex is 0, 0. And I know that because there's no other numbers. And if I was to do this and that, you can see now there's 1, negative 1, and 4, 2. Again, you don't like my graph? Go check it out on Desmos, okay? All right. Let's look at letter D. Keep in mind, I might say how many solutions. Tell me all the possible possibilities for solutions. So this is a line, and this is a line. So they can either not touch, they can touch one time, or they could be the exact same line and be infinite. Okay? So let's solve this. I'm going to solve by substitution. This should be review. This is last year. If you're struggling, I want you to ask me. Probably means you're struggling with other stuff too, and that's okay. Just ask me. So now what do? Multiply, multiply. Plus 10, because a negative times a negative is a positive. That 0 plus 10 equals 10. And then I subtract 10, 0 equals 0. Well, do I have an x to solve for? No. Do I have a y to solve for? No. So it's not one solution. Is it 0, no solution, or is it the other one, infinite? Well, let's look. Does 0 equal negative 4? Never, ever, ever. That's why they don't touch. Does 0 equal 0? Yeah. How often? All the time. So this would be infinite. Don't memorize, use logic. Infinite solutions. That means if I was to graph this, down 5, up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1, up 2, right 1, done. If I was to graph this and solve it for y by subtracting 4x and dividing by 2, I would get y equals negative 2x minus 5, and it is the exact same graph. Now I want a caveat. If you had 3x equals 0, that is not no solution. You could actually divide by 3, and x would be 0. That means you're going to have one solution, an x and a y value. Okay, let's go to the next page. I'm going to pause it real quick. Hold on. Okay, so now let's go to this one. Well, do you know what the shape of this is? A circle. Great. Do you know what the shape of this is? A parabola. Great. So we've got options. Options are, here's the circle, here's the parabola. They don't touch at all. Got another option, here's the circle, here's the parabola. They touch once. I've got another situation. Here's a circle. Here's a parabola. They touch twice. And I've even got another situation where if I have a circle, it could touch 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So I know it's 0, 1, 2, or 4. Okay? So how am I going to solve this? One way to solve this is to take this and plug it in there. So I would go x squared plus x squared minus 13 squared equals 25. Does that look fun? No. So I don't want to approach it that way. Could I approach it that way? Of course I could. What I'm going to do is this. I'm going to take this equation over here. Oh, and when it says how many solutions do you expect this system to have? Those are your options. 0, 1, 2, or 4. Okay, it says solve it by graphing. We're actually going to do the algebra part first. Okay, so let me write it down here. I guess I'm supposed to do the graphing part first. So let me do that, and then I'll do the algebra second. All right. So if I'm going to do the graph first, and this is a circle, I have to find the center. Let me put it here. I have to find the center, which is 0, 0, and the radius, which is what? 5. Okay, this has got to be second nature. So 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's my circle. Okay? Now, this one is a parabola. So if I'm going to deal with the u, so this is the circle and this is the u. I know that there is a vertex. My vertex is the one with the x and the y. So I'm going to go down 13. So I know my vertex is here. I also know that this is going to be going up. So if it's going up, that's a possibility. That's a possibility. Okay. I don't know about you, but I don't like graphing as much because it's more of a pain in the tush for me. I'm really good at algebra. So I'm going to have to do a table because I can't use Desmos. I'm going to hope I can make it work here. So I'm going to go 0, negative 13 because that is my vertex and that's what goes in the middle. And now I'm going to go negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, 1, 2, 3. I know that these values match because it's a parabola. So 1 squared is 1, minus 13 is negative 12. So that's not helping me yet. Okay, it's kind of fake. You'll be okay. 2 squared is 4, minus 13 is negative 9. So I think that's there. And there we're getting closer. 3 squared is 9, minus 13 is negative 4. So negative 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're getting closer, aren't we? But I'm going to have to keep going, aren't I? So that means 4. So 4 squared is 16, 3. So that means negative 4, 3. 1, 2, 3. Positive 4, 1, 2, 3. This is fake a little bit, okay? Because this is why I don't like graphing unless I have Desmos. So it looks like how I did it. It looks like it's going to touch 4 times, okay? And I feel like they're going to be decimals. They might be whole numbers. I can't really tell. This is why I like to rely on algebra. So let me get to the algebra part, okay? I know we're at 13 minutes already. Sorry. We talked about how if you took this and plug it in there, it'd be a pain in the tush. I'm going to look at it this way. I'm going to make this, and I'm going to solve it for x squared. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to plug it in here. So I'm going to rewrite this as y equals 25 minus y squared minus 13. Hopefully you see what I did. I can solve for whatever I want. I moved this over. That was x squared. I plugged it in, and now I'm going to simplify. I like my y to be positive. Move it over here. 25 minus 13 is 12. But now I'm going to move the 12 over, and I go from there. 2 numbers that multiply, 2 numbers that add. That's positive bigger. So now I get negative 4 and 3 as my y values. Now that I have my y, I plug it in and I get my x. So there's different ways to do this. I can take the y, I would put it in there. So I'm going to go 13 equals x squared minus, 3 equals x squared minus 13. Add 13. Square root, square root. Ooh, when I square root, what does it mean? Plus or minus 4.